It's just come out so valuable. So the top lessons for 2025 are as follows. Lesson number one, cheap leads are more expensive than expensive ones. And what I mean by this is like looking back on my top performance to prepare for today, one of the things that I did was I went into my own ads manager and I said, in 2026, am I sharing the right screen here? Let me make sure I'm sharing my ads manager. In 2026, what campaign led to the best, the top performers? Like how did I create, what campaign did I run that generated the most leads in 2026? And what I found was not super flattering. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So sorting, this is all of the results that I've had for the year in this particular ad account. And looking at my top lead generator was this Become an Instructor quiz. And at first glance, this quiz did amazing because if you look here, I have generated a total of 458 leads. Now, in theory, these are people who want to become firearm instructors, and my program requires them to fly to Florida. Been very successful in doing this. Fly to Florida, become a certified instructor, and then I can coach them on building their business from the start. And so I spent on this $175, but it was my top performer because I had 458 leads. My cost per lead was 38 cents. I spent a tremendous amount of time with these 458 leads. And just to show you this funnel, let me just kind of show you the funnel here. So experienced shooters, most people think they'll pass the firearm instructor certification until the day the test proves them otherwise. If you're confident on the range, let's see how you stack up with real world instructor exam. Take this 60-second quiz. The idea is they land on a quiz page and it asks them technical questions about being a firearm instructor that really firearm instructors should know. At the end of it, it gives them an opportunity to purchase a package to get them to become a firearm instructor a little bit easier than if they just went out and took a class. And I spent a tremendous amount of time on these 458 leads, calling, emailing, texting manually, trying to convert. And at the end of it, I had nothing to show for my time. And so the takeaway is the cheaper the leads, oftentimes, the more expensive they are because the more time it takes you to convert them into sales. And so when you look at my lead cost now, let me just go through my last 7 days lead costs and we'll compare 58 cents with my last 7 days worth of lead costs. This lead I spent $500 on, which that's going away because that's just ridiculous. $121 per lead, $85 per lead, $61 per lead, 102. Here's 20, 13, and then 33 cents is just for page growth, right? So these leads are qualitatively better because in order for these leads to become leads to me, they have to buy something from me for the most part. And so if they are willing to shell out money to start the relationship with my business, then they are a higher quality lead. And so lesson number one that I've learned is cheap leads are more expensive than good ones because chasing lowest cost leads will feel like a win initially, but the problem's going to show up later, like no shows, tire kickers, endless follow-ups, weak conversations, and it's draining your time and energy. So the moment that you shift towards higher intent leads, revenue is going to stabilize and the lead, even if the lead costs go up, you're going to earn more per lead. So as a general rule of thumb, what I kind of want you guys to do when you're looking at these cheap leads, right, is weigh what the conversion is, right? How are they converting? And how much time are you spending to get that conversion? That's really the goal. And even if you're spending more per lead, as long as you have a system to earn that revenue back within the first 30 days, that's a win. Number two was a good lesson following this one. If you don't control follow-up, you don't control revenue. And we see this a lot with Jim's process for follow-up right now is probably the best in the group, along with Shawnee, although I don't see Sean in the room today. What they have done is said, time is the most important asset that we have. And this is true for all of us. Your time is the most important and valuable asset that you have. And so what Momentum HQ should be doing for you, and each and every one of you, is saving you time. So there's something to be said for calling and manually engaging with leads. You should always work your leads, because if you're going to pay for your leads, you should always work them. You should be automating as much as humanly possible. Okay, so to give it, for instance, if you're giving a webinar, and some of us in the room have, Kim gave a webinar, wildly successful on her first webinar. Jim gives a webinar every single week. If you're giving a webinar, one of the most important things is that you follow up with people and you call them, and you manually call them to make sure that you reduce the amount of people that are not going to show up. You reduce your no-show rate. And I am taking a page out of Jim's success book and giving a webinar on Monday night to new instructors. The idea is make 2026 your year to shine. And of course, I'm going to be teaching them about Momentum HQ and things like that. These are people not in the coaching program, and I want them to join the coaching program. So I created a webinar funnel, very simple, webinar sign up page. Then they go to an upsell page, a thank you if they did do the upsell. And then if they did not do the upsell, they go to a thank you. You're not a VIP, and it gives them one more chance to become a VIP. And my success on this, I've had a lot of registrations, and the registrations are going really well. $13 per registration. I'd like to see that about $12 per registration, 21 signups in the last 7 days. My goal is a 50% show up rate. But in order to get that 50%, I have to manually call each individual attendee and get them to make sure that they added it to their calendar, see if they had any questions, really reach out personally. And I am not above manually calling every single lead that I get, because I want to have the best possible success. The more people that show up Monday night, the more successful and the more revenue that we're going to make. And so I'm not above calling these leads individually, and I am in fact calling each individual lead. Now, 2 years ago when I was calling leads, I had to manually follow up via text, but I built a simple automation that saves me time to do that. And I'll show you what that automation looks like. When you call, there are 4 possible outcomes for a lead. Outcome number 1 is you could not leave a voicemail because their voicemail is not set up, or worse yet, their voicemail is full. You did leave a voicemail. They confirmed, or they don't have a phone number. Their phone number isn't working. Those are the 4 possible outcomes. And so what I do when I call, if I couldn't leave a voicemail, I follow up with an SMS that basically says, hey, calling to confirm, and it's trying to start a conversation, but I couldn't leave a voicemail. Then if you could leave a voicemail, same thing, a little similar, just I did leave you a voicemail. Then if I talk to them, they're automatically in call confirmed, and I drop them a text message also. And then if they don't have a phone number, well, we can't text them, so we email them, right? Those are the 4 possible outcomes that you have when you call and confirm a lead. And so instead of manually sending these text messages out like I would have done, a few years ago, I am just tagging them, and the automation is going to do that. Now, this is a very simple automation compared to what Jim and Shawnee have. In their automations, Jim has many more automations for his leads for every step of the game. But the idea here is that you have to automate. If you are doing anything repetitively, it should be automated. Okay. It should be automated. And, revenue really, it depends oftentimes before Momentum HQ, guys, revenue depended on your memory, your reminders that you would add for yourselves, your follow-up, the amount of effort that you put in. Now, Momentum HQ really should be doing that hard lifting so that your sales are not inconsistent. So when your follow-up is automated, when it's tracked, it's unavoidable. It's not accidental. You're not accidentally falling into it just by randomly remembering to email or call somebody. It's unavoidable, and it's intentional. And your leads don't get lost because nothing is relying on your willpower. Or, one of our guys today, Mike, mentioned in the group chat, he's sick today, right? So he's not doing his follow-ups. He's not working his leads because he's not feeling good. Momentum HQ is not sick. It doesn't not want to get out of bed in the morning, and it doesn't have a bad day, or it doesn't get too busy for you to do your automation. So If you are going into 2025 with zero automation for your business, you need to focus on automation, and you need to make automation a big part of your business. And what it should do is two things. Number one, increase your acquisition from really no shows and people that aren't, making an effort. And two, increasing your lifetime value. So for Murph, for instance, he's got acquisition almost down to a T. Now Murph needs to focus on lifetime value. What is he going to earn? How is he going to earn more revenue per customer over the next 12 months so we can get people back in? And my guess is on Murph and some others that your acquisition is starting to go well, but now our retention and our ascension into more revenue is where we need to focus on in 2026, but at the same time, not lacking in acquisition, because acquisition is king. So another lesson that I've learned, okay, and this is actually a hard lesson to learn. It's not a fun lesson. Polarization beats popularity, okay? Russell Brunson did in the book Expert Secrets, he drew a graph, and the graph basically said, and this is not a political graph, this is just kind of like, we've got crazy, and then we've got like boring. And most businesses, most people, they like to sit in the middle, right? Where they're kind of moderate, right? So if we're crazy, right, we're going to miss out on some population. If we're boring, we're going to miss out on some population. But if we're moderate, we're also going to miss. The sweet spot is somewhere in here, because you're not crazy enough to lose people necessarily, but your content and your themes and your business is able to go forward because it's top of mind for people. It's not necessarily crazy like you're a nut job, and it's certainly not boring. And so when looking at the reason I came up with this is because I looked at my most popular content this year. And my most popular content was not content like this, which I'll show you. I've got this prepared for you. This is my favorite piece of content that I created, but take a look. In fact, I got to share with sound here so you guys can hear it. So this is my favorite piece of content.
The Second Amendment is not for hunting. It's not for you to go plinking at a shooting range. It's not even for self-defense. It's so that if your government grows and gets out of hand and it becomes tyrannical and oppressive, that you are the solution. That is what the Second Amendment is all about. The Second Amendment is not for hunting.
All the content that I had go viral this year, this one received 50,000 views. I think we just put it up 10 days ago, 11 days ago. So this one's going well, but it's got 50,000 views. Now, the thing about this particular video is that this particular video is agreed upon, right? So if you look at the comments on this video, they're all very positive. They're all very supportive, right? For the most part. And, they're not personally attacking me. They're not, they're not tearing us apart. It is very rare for content to be viral if it's not living in this type of area, right? If it's not living just a little bit north of moderate. And so when you think about, or when you look at the content that really went crazy viral for me, it was things like this. Open carry doesn't make you a target. It makes predators rethink career choices, right? So there's this idea in the gun world as instructors that if you open carry, it makes you a target. In other words, the bad guys that come into a gas station that were going to rob the gas station in the first place will see you with your open carry pistol, stop what they're doing, focus on you, shoot you first, then carry out the attack on the gas station. I don't subscribe to that belief. I think that criminals are cowards. They're not, number one, going to notice that you're open carrying because they have tunnel vision coming in and just focusing on what they want. And number two, if they did, it would be more of a deterrent because they don't want to fight. They want cheap, easy money without putting their lives at risk, right? So, and that's what statistics show also. So using this, I'm directly attacking that already ingrained belief that open carry makes you a target. That is such a popular thing for instructors to teach, and I am directly attacking that. Now, because I am attacking people's belief, a lot of people engage with it, and it does go much more viral because it is polarizing. But I also get personally attacked like crazy. for weight, teeth, look, image, right? But the question is, what is better for our business? For us to get the views and get the virality of a post like this, and do gain a certain amount of response of positive, or to never be known at all. Advertising is the process of making known. And so I subscribe to the belief that, just like the old adage, even bad news is good news, right? I subscribe to the adage that it's better for you to be found and hated than to be not found at all. And I also want you to know that the more well-known you get, the more drama is associated with that. From other instructors, from other businesses, from people who just don't like your content, and people that just don't want to see you succeed. Negativity is across all businesses and all spectrums, not something that we can avoid. If you want your business to succeed and you want to be known in your industry and have your business be known, you need to be able to take the heat. And if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, because you will be attacked personally. And there's two ways to deal with that: ban and delete, or just ignore completely. Because what's going to make somebody hate you more? To ignore them and move on, or for you to actually respond? And it is very, very, very rare that I will respond to the hate. It's also very rare that I'm going to delete, because it's just not worth my time also, just to even sit there and hit ban and delete. But obviously you do have that option. But I want you to know that if you want your content to be shared organically, this is the space that you should be living in, and you should be prepared to take the heat. More lessons for 2026. Practice doesn't make perfect, okay? But reps make you dominate. So I'm just going to shorten this one to reps make you dominate. So practice doesn't make perfect, but reps make you dominate, right? So everybody in this room, the first ad that you created sucked. Everyone's ad sucks the first day that you create it. The second one is going to suck less. Then you get one that works. And then you know why it worked. And the same is with your sales pitches. When you first did your sales pitch, either on the phone to get somebody into your class, or at the end of your class to get people to sign up for more, or later on to get students to come back, your sales pitch was awkward. You probably rambled. You probably missed the close. And then you do it again. You get a little better. And then you do it again. And you get a little better. And then you do it again. And you get a little better. And suddenly people start buying from you. No one wins because they planned better in the beginning. Okay? People are winning because they ran with more reps. So one of the reasons that I was so successful in training is because I gave the same class, right? So my funnel was over and over and over. My funnel is this, right? So if it's on the screen here, I had my intro class. Then I had my upsell. Then I had my automations to bring people back. And then I had my long-term lifetime value, play as via email. So my intro class was what I spent 100% of my marketing on, was to get people into my intro class. This was the class that I had 4 times a week with 40 people a class. I did this class 4 times a week with 40 people a class. And in the beginning, I kept trying to like tweak this here and tweak that here and tweak this here and just try to make it better, better, and better. And then one day I was like, I'm just not being consistent. Let me just try to be consistent with what I teach. And for the next several years, I taught the exact same class over and over and over. And it became better and better and better, to the point that it became a script that my 3 or 4-year-old son, while I was speaking in the class, he could actually finish each sentence as I spoke it. And why I became so good and why I was able to deliver the best experience is because it was the rep. It was the rep. It was the rep over and over and over and over. When I kept trying to add different things to class to make it better. The things that I was adding weren't good because I didn't have the reps. Repetition beats anything in business, because if you are bailing on a new idea after one bad attempt because it doesn't work, you haven't given it the reps it needs to see if it's going to work. The ones that are filling the classes are staying long enough to stop sucking, right? Are spending ads long enough to stop sucking with their ads. The ones in this group that are winning are because they are not stopping. They are giving the time and the reps over and over and over. And volume is a big, consistent lesson that I had in 2025. The next thing is clarity beats creativity. So I always wanted to have the most creative ad, and I spent a lot of time on creativity. In 2025, I have really learned that clarity beats creativity. So the ads that are converting for me weren't the most clever. I wasn't saying the most clever thing. They were just obvious, in your face. This is what I have to offer. And when messaging was clearly stating who it's for, what problem it solved, what happens next, sales followed every single time, right? So every time creativity led and clarity was like the number two thing that I focused on, my results dropped every single time. Cute. Okay. A great example is this. I created ads, and I just thought these were the best ads I've ever done. I had so much fun building these ads and so much fun filming them. Come on, let me pull them up. And these just did not win. Get out, Facebook. There we go. Now we'll go to range. I believe it was these ads. Nope. It was. Dang, I don't think that I'm going to be able to pull them up really quickly. But I spent a ton of money on these ads. Let's do. I believe it was back in July. Let's see here. I don't see them. There it is, right here. These ads here. I just thought these were going to be amazing. So I will pull it up this way.
Firearm instructors, you don't need a grenade launcher to get attention and fill your classes. You just need Facebook ads. Click below to enroll in my $37.
Okay, so I thought that was going to be amazing. I thought this one was going to be amazing.
Every town has that one firearm instructor that everybody talks about. The ones with authority, full classes, profit. And then there are the instructors that take a shotgun approach to marketing.
These ads performed. They are my least performers throughout the year. I mean, the least performers. And I was like, no, this can't possibly be. And I doubled down and spent more and more and more money on them. And I didn't quit. And I should have. I should have walked away. I used an emotional response to a data-driven, very simple answer. And I should not have done that. So huge. Clarity beats creativity every single time. The ads that are converting are not clever. They're obvious. And then the next one is being early. Being early beats being polished. And what I mean by that is, you guys hear me say all the time, and Murph voiced this last week, perfection prevents progress. If you try to be perfect, you're not going to get anything off the ground. So being early beats being polished every single time. Some of my biggest wins came from things that weren't even perfected, and I go live with it and realize, oh my gosh, my automation's not working exactly right. Oh my gosh, my funnel's not working. And yet it wins because I got it out there quick. So my offers always are evolving. Your offers should be evolving a little bit also, but remember, reps are more important than the evolution, right? But if you find that your reps are just not working, you need to evolve. But really, this is really important, is that perfection is going to prevent your progress. So just get something out there, even if it's not great. Just get an ad out there, run it to a landing page, and get the information out there. Okay, then the next one, and this is actually a new one for me, proof is more important than passion. So what I mean by proof is that there are certain things that only you can say, right? Only I can say, I've trained 30,000 people in firearm safety from a tiny little shooting range in a tiny little town. That's something I say all the time. It rolls off my tongue because it's almost in every one of my ads. What I found is that because that's what I have done, that's the thing that students most often respond to, or instructors most often respond to, because it's proof, right? And then I try to show, not tell. So if I say $1 million training business, I want something on the screen, a screenshot of my Stripe account showing $1 million in revenue, right? So that people are not, it's proof. People are really skeptical towards everything today, right? Think about how many times you've shared a video lately or a post lately, and people are like, that's fake, that's AI, right? So in the days of skepticism, proof beats passion every time. We have to prove that we have done what we have claimed. So number one, claim what only you can claim, right? So you've trained XYZ women, you've trained XYZ people, you are the only range, you are the only school, right? Whatever the case may be. Claim what only you can claim, and then show the proof during the video. So when I say to my video editor, I need more proof in the video, what that means is he needs to go through my library of B-roll, find clips of me doing what I said that I'm doing, or what I'm claiming to have done, and put those clips in the video. And proof outweighs passion. So what you can do is use testimonials, right? So I've got ads out there with Murph in it. I've got ads out there with Jim in it now, and I'm using testimonials. Yeah, Murph, I got ads with you in it. In fact, somebody came through today, and I had to tell him no because he was too close to you, but he recognized you in the ad, and that's why he came through. I can get the name after the course. I can get the name. I forget. He's in Boston. But you guys
took. Referred?
What's that?
Was it somebody I referred?
It was not somebody you referred. It was somebody that took an instructor class with you, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll get you the name afterwards. But he was just on top of you, and I wasn't gonna, have another instructor right on top of you. But so testimonials have been the biggest thing for me. Proof matters, and the fact is, people in this program are winning, and so that should be something that we share to the world so that other people can win also. That should be what you focus on also. So if you don't have testimonials, 2026 is your year to do that. If you do have testimonials, you're not using them, 2026 should be your year to use them. Okay. The next one is being stuck as a choice. And what I mean by that is every stall that I've experienced in this group, every time somebody is not winning, every time somebody is, struggling to fill their classes still, I can trace that back to a decision not being made. And what I mean by that is we're so focused on what funnel should I run? What offer should I run? What class should I run? What should I say in my ad? Just do it. Just do it. Being stuck is a choice because you have the tools. Just do it. And even if it sucks at first, put in the reps to make it not suck. And so I really feel that every business in the world has a constraint. If a business didn't have a constraint, we would all be billionaires. I mean, even Amazon.com or Elon Musk's businesses, they all have a constraint of some sort. And they usually fall into one of basically 6 categories, which are things like manpower, funding, advertising and marketing. There's always one of 6 particular business constraints, and it's always one of those. And I feel like if we are stuck, it's because we are not making a choice to attack the constraint, right? Inventory, for instance, right? I know Jim had at one point an inventory constraint, and that was one of the next constraint to overcome. And so, I feel like being stuck is a choice because we know in order to succeed, we need to get over that constraint. We need to solve that constraint and move on to the next constraint. For instance, if you solve your constraint of filling your classes, your next constraint will be a demand constraint. So you've got supply and demand. If you are filling your classes, you fixed the demand. Rather, I got that reversed. If you're filling your classes, you fixed demand. You have a supply constraint. You don't have enough instructors. You don't have enough classrooms. Your instructors are too busy, right? You've got a supply constraint. So to continue to grow your business there, you have two options. Increase supply. So get a bigger classroom or more classrooms, get more instructors, or have them teach more often, or earn more money per student by raising your prices. That also is going to fix your supply demand curve. But being stuck at this point, because you have the tools, you have the training, being stuck is a choice. So follow it back to the decision that needs to be made, make the decision, and get your ads going, get your funnel going. Let's stop saying no and having reasons to say no. Let's get back on track, get rid of hesitation, and take the plunge. Start your reps. Number 9 is, and this is a big one because I have seen people in our group lose their Facebook page, right? Audience ownership is power. And what I mean by audience ownership is this. When you spend all of your time building your Facebook and Instagram pages, those Facebook and Instagram pages don't actually belong to you. They belong to Facebook and Instagram. When you build your YouTube channel, you don't own that traffic. YouTube does. And so if they decide that you're not worthy of their platform anymore, all of that equity and time and money that you spent building it is bye-bye. Everything that you do should be about building your email audience and your SMS audience on a platform that you own and cannot be taken away from you. So audience ownership is power because you need to get people off of Facebook and Instagram and into your email list where you can send them marketing on whatever you want. You're not going to be violating terms and conditions, except for SMS. We got to kind of watch it. But, you know, for the most part, that audience belongs to you. It can't be taken away. The traffic that you have on Facebook and Instagram is risky traffic because it can be taken away from you at any time. There were several times this year that I was put in Facebook jail erroneously for 3 days based on non-gun comments. And it shouldn't have happened. And for 3 days, I wasn't able to change my ads. And that is dangerous. So number 1, stay within Facebook guidelines. If Facebook guidelines are here, stay way over here so that you cannot possibly get in trouble. And number 2, everything that you do should be about building your email list, not building your Facebook or Instagram. Get them off of Facebook and into a platform that you own. Number 10, going through my theme here of reps. Volume beats talent every time. If somebody had to say, what is the biggest thing that you've learned over 2025? The answer is volume. I think that people underestimate the amount of volume it takes to build $1 million training business. I think that people underestimate how much volume it takes in order to build your business bigger than any other training organization in your area. It takes volume. The instructors who are winning aren't necessarily the ones that are most gifted. It takes volume. The instructors who are winning aren't necessarily the ones that are most gifted. They're the most active. They're doing it. They're posting more. They're running more ads. They're making more ads. Instead of talking about what they want to do, they're doing it. Instead of generating the leads, they're calling them, right? They're pitching more often. Their skill is showing up only after volume, not before it. So volume beats talent hands-on every single time, because your skill will come after the reps are in and after the volume, not before it. And what I mean by volume is more ads, more offers, more landing pages, more funnels, more automations, more everything. Volume beats talent. The more you put out, the more you're going to get back. All advertising works. It's just a matter of volume. My personal goal, I think I mentioned last call, is I want to spend as much as I humanly can on Facebook ads. Even if that means that my acquisition cost goes up, as long as my business model supports an increase in the acquisition, more is more. And so I have sold more books in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 2 months, because I am constantly adding 20% of budget almost every other day on my ads. And I'm going to keep going until I either reach zero on my bank account or I reach a couple new zeros at the end of the bank account, right? And that's just, and it's alarmingly awkward. It's scary because I'm spending so much money on Facebook ads right now. And, you know, it's a scary thing, but it's getting me out of my comfort zone. I am very comfortable selling books at $20 per acquisition, right? $20 per sale. Now I'm selling books at $100 per sale. And as long as my business model supports that, the more I spend per customer, the more my business grows. So look at your business model and look at your acquisition. If you can spend $500 per getting somebody into a gun class, you're going to win. Yeah, Murph, go ahead.
Are you using the book as a loss leader to get them into something else that's more expensive?
So yes, I was. So my sales process is this: is that I sell my book. Oh, I don't even have a copy on my desk, which is awful. I've got everybody else's book here. Here it is. I sell the book for $24.95, so $19.99 plus 6 bonuses. And if they buy the book, they get an opportunity to schedule a call with me. Most people don't schedule a call with me then. They schedule a call after they've read the book. Because when you read the book and you hear my pain points, like I think Nathan said to me on his first call, he said, Andy, I felt like chapter XYZ was speaking right to me. And so as they buy the book and they're consuming my content, they are understanding that I actually have, if you can explain the pain that they're going through effectively, you can also, come to the conclusion that the process forward also. And so my book is really the first introduction to my business. 2025, I didn't add this as a lesson, but I learned, Murph, that the more people consume your content, the more hours they consume your content, the more likely it is that you're the person they're going to seek to solve their problem. To read my book, it takes 3 or 4 hours. Listen to audiobook, it's 3 hours straight, right? And so that's 3 hours of content consumption that they would have had to watch 300 of my reels on Facebook to get the same amount of repetition and consuming my content to get that. And so it has become the only lead that the loss leader that I'm using now, and it is the most effective one that I've ever had. And so yes, I'll spend $100 to make 27. I'll spend $100 to make 27 back, and I'll do that all day long because my sales, my model allows for that. So if you can spend $500 getting somebody into a $100 class because your business model allows for that, that's how you can be successful, the most successful, because I can tell you right now, your competition cannot spend $500 on ads to fill one person in a seat, which is why their ads are not being seen all over the place.